Tyson Paul from weonthelaugh.com, and I get the esteemed honor today to interview a lady who just released her first feature film. The feature film is pretty good. Is actually selected for Sundance last year in 2025. She also recently in 2025 came out with a debut comedy special called JoySuck. But today, she gets to join us and talk about everything that she has going on in the past, present, and future. So let's give it up for Didn't Die's Miss Kiran Deol. How's it going, Kiran?
So nice to be here with you. I love the way you're like, it's pretty good. You were like, it's not amazing, but it's pretty good.
I mean,
Hilarious.
yeah, well, because like you can't really. I mean, I don't want to sit there and be like, hey, like have it like it's like Nightmare on Elm Street, because then
Have you
then
seen it? Have you seen it yet? Have you seen a screener?
yeah, I saw a little bit of the screener and then all the information that you guys have sent. Like that's why I have a lot of like great questions for it. First off,
Got it. Yeah.
okay, you're a comic, originally a stand-up comic, but now this is your kind of like your first major acting role. Like, how is it transitioning from this to acting?
I started as an actor when I was like in high school and college and definitely loved acting first. So this felt kind of like a return in a way that was really great. And it's this movie's kind of a send up of George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, which is a black and white movie that obviously had a lot of like, and I say it's like an indie drama, like a small indie drama wrapped inside the container of a zombie movie, and that's kind of what you're getting. So it's a dramedy. She's a podcast host who's like in the middle of like a zombie apocalypse, but she's also very a lot happens in the movie. I thought it was really cool to get to play a storyline where somebody is like funny and has some of the basis and like what we do in stand up. Obviously, podcast is like breathing for comics. I feel like we all do so many of them.
Yeah.
So it was cool to have something that was so wheelhouse as the basis for it, but it was also really exciting to get a chance to like build out an arc, for a character who's telling a story over time and be like, the lead in something. It was really cool. And special. Yeah. A friend of mine named Mira Menon is the director, and she had kind of hit me up and was like, "Hey, would you want to do something like this again? We'd worked together one time before." And I was like, "With you?" Yeah, she's a wonderful director. She did a bunch of um what is that zombie show that everyone loves? The Walking Dead. She did The Walking Dead. She did Westworld and stuff. So I was like, yeah, of course I would love to work with you. And so we worked off of this like a scriptment that her and her husband wrote that had a lot of room for improv and like starting to filter in story ideas and stuff, which was also really exciting, as I'm sure you can understand as a comic, because you kind of get a say, in stand up, we get a say in how we want to tell the story. And so that was really a satisfying way to work and very collaborative.
Mm-hmm. Now, also, because as a comic going into acting, usually comics like start off their like first like kind of feature role is more of a like comic goes to college. Like they kind of keep it, especially themselves, but act out basically most of their sets and stuff. But you actually took took this and did a 180 and like basically because are you a fan of the zombie apocalypse genre in general, and then also like were you looking for something to do that was just completely unlike any other comic that has done it before?
That's great. I mean, I got into more horror. I got to be a part of a movie called Destroy All Neighbors with Alex Winter, and Kumail had a small part in it, Kumail Nanjiani, and it was Jonah Ray's movie. He was the lead in that. He's excellent in it. I played his partner, and she kind of she's a supporting character in this kind of two-hander. I got to do that. I got to do a few other like horror kind of genre things. So I feel like it found me as opposed to me being like a massive fan of it. What I've thought was so cool about the genre is that you get to do really interesting work because there's such a kind of rabid and engaged fan base who are down for things that are experimental and artistic. And I love that overlap. that you get to step outside of the box. Like you don't have to be super famous to be the lead in something. So that's cool, because they're horror fans, they're genre fans, they're down. Like they will watch a good story. And I think those audiences are pretty incredible. Yeah, I feel super lucky. Did I answer this question?
Yeah, yes, you did.
Did I answer this? Did I answer the
Yeah,
question? Yeah.
actually, I mean, it leads to my next question because so you're used to being a producer on most projects and stuff, and right now, in this one, you were basically like being told what to do. Like, how is it transitioning from producing to basically being the actress and starring in this role? Like, how did you learn how to turn like different things off?
I've had a chance I started as an actor, so it's really like, and I think in terms of stand-up, you have a lot of say in what is going into your work. And the same thing with like any films that I've done, I've been a producer on them, so I have a lot of say of what's going in. Mira in particular is quite collaborative. So I think the difference is it's like, the way I try to look at any project is I'm going to give you like, I'm going to try to be as collaborative as possible. I will give you all of my best ideas for whatever it is, any of my best suggestions or whatever I think. At the end of the day, if I'm on somebody else's project, I'm like, the buck stops with them. It's their vision. I was on a show in 2019. It was Cal Penn's show. It was called Sunnyside, like Joel Kim Booster and like Moses Storm and a bunch of really, really wonderful Poppy Lou, a bunch of really wonderful comedic actors and talent.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's that showrunner's baby and child. So it's like you can give your tags or your thoughts or whatever, but then you're there at the end of the day and you're in service to a project. And I think you just show up and you try to do your best and do your own best work and be a team player. Um and then hopefully when it's your thing, people do the same for you. Like I try to show up for other people the way I would want them to show up for me,
Mhm.
and I think that's really part of the fun of it is that it's somebody else, like, to get to just come on board and somebody else did all the organizing and the figured everything out. That's a lot of work, and then you get to play in their sandbox,
Mhm.
and vice versa. I think that's really, you know kind of ideal. I think it's fun to move around a little bit too, like to go from acting in something to writing something. I think comics are, we kind of we're very well positioned to kind of do it all, which is very, very lucky.
Yeah. And the crazy part of the funny part about this movie too also is it's not just even really a comedy, it's more like action as well, because I mean you get to shoot a bow and arrow, you get to basically kill a lot of
It is
zombies,
shoot a bow and arrow.
and
Yeah.
you get to survive and stuff and do a podcast at the same time. Did you have to train a little bit for the action scenes and everything?
I got in shape. I think in between. Yeah. I tried to get into like good shape at the end because um, I knew she was supposed to be pretty, like have her shit together. So I did try. I still think, I mean, I don't know how well I did. People are like, "Oh, you look ripped at the end," but it's like, to me, ripped is like,
Yeah.
Tiana Taylor's ripped. You know what I mean? Like ripped is like an 8 pack, and like I can see all your muscles. I don't think I got to that, but she's strong. I think she's strong at the end, and I think it's cool. Again, I think there's such a you bring up like hopefully a sense of play and curiosity to whatever you do, and you just try to remember this is a real privilege to get to work in storytelling in any form, and it's fun. So I didn't get Kumail ripped. I can tell you that much, but people at the end were like, "Oh, you're pretty ripped,"
Yeah.
so I was like, well,
And there's still time. There's still time. You still, I mean, summer's not even
It's
here.
not over. It's
Yeah.
not over. It takes a lot of discipline. I didn't work with somebody. I did hot yoga. I mean, I just did like, I think I did hot yoga every day for like 5 months. And it's
Mhm.
like, that makes you strong. It does. And it makes you very flexible and like great balance and all of that stuff. But it's not the same as like doing like a heavy weight training regime, like the regimen of like the weights.
Mhm.
I would
Yeah.
try it though. I would try working with a trainer and do that. I feel like
Well,
I would need some motivation externally. I
well,
would need somebody on me for that, I think.
Well, I definitely see more action comedy roles in your future after it didn't die, because I mean the way you handle yourself, like there's definitely going to be a lot of more action comedies.
I
You're
hope
definitely
that'd be fun. I
she's
think
like,
it's fun. I mean, it's also it's just it's cool. It's cool. It's somebody like that's something I don't know. I don't feel like super educated on, but it's like but they have stunt coordinators. They show you what to do. They help you out. They're all so they have a craft and then they are helping you kind of execute that craft with your ability and make you look good and then the DP's making you look good. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people around you that are making you look I think more skilled than like Jackie Chan is like a real martial artist. You know what I mean? Like it's basically like you could shoot that on an iPhone, it's gonna look incredible, because
yes.
he can really like do fucking flying ninja kicks and whatever, or he could back in the day, So yeah, I think it was I what I would do it again in a heartbeat. It's so fun.
Yeah, and you definitely made it look easy. So
Ah, thank you.
actually, I mean, I do have a question about the shooting the bow and the arrow. Did you practice that?
No, no.
No.
That I did not practice. We didn't get much time to practice that. I didn't, so that was on the day. On the day yeah, that was on the day. I got okay. I got okay. But you, yeah, it's like anything, you know what I mean? Like it's, but they did give you you got a crash course, very, very quick crash course.
Well, did it make you interested in like archery at after shooting?
I think the next day my body was hurting so much that I'm not sure. I was like pretty achy by the end of that day, so I didn't go back and consider the archery. There's like
Mm.
this big log I was carrying and stuff. I was trying to do stuff that looked impressive, So there's like I don't think that's in the trailer, so you're gonna have to wait until you see the movie for that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, I do have a question about basically because I mean, the originality of actually shooting or performing a regular podcast doing a zombie apocalypse has never been seen in movie history. Do you think it's harder to, I mean, in real life, if you did have to do a zombie apocalypse podcast, like in the middle of the zombie apocalypse, like, are you the only person in the world that could do it?
I feel like comedians Like I feel like this character, if she had a podcast and then she had to pivot. And I kind of feel like that's who would be podcasting during a zombie apocalypse. I think it would be all the comics and until they kind of whatever their power goes out or it's going to be whichever one figures out how to like get generator power and like get it up and figures out how to like take this airwave or whatever so they can broadcast it on the radio. So it's going to be like the ones who are a little bit more like technically savvy or have a little bit of a team, but I definitely feel like the comics are going to be the ones like podcasting through any of they already have a podcast. You know what I mean? Like you think they're just going to stop because the world's over? No.
Yeah, no, I mean, no comic. I mean, that's like sitting there saying like comics are gonna stop going on stage like during open mics, like a zombie apocalypse. They're still gonna find time. Like
Yeah, or even like COVID, how many comics still were hitting up during COVID? It's like
yeah,
they're like, yeah, man, it sucks.
yeah.
And also, yeah,
It's
the
like,
world's kind of over, but like I got to get this time in. That's just kind of who comedians are, I think, in their heart of
mhm.
hearts.
Yeah, so naturally now you're a stand-up comic, but now that you've been marketing the film, how has it been one marketing this film, this process since like basically you've been doing it since Sundance last year to
Yeah.
now where it's in theaters and stuff, like how has that process been like marketing a film, because obviously is this your like first time really marketing such a major film like this?
It's the first time definitely being the lead of something. So it's been interesting because you shoot everyone says this, right? It's like there's time between when you shoot it and then you edit it and then you promote it. So there's almost a little bit of remembering what you
Mhm.
did and how you approached it. And I put in a lot of work and then forget about all the work I did. I think it's a PTSD response. So it's like that with a special too. So I think it's cool to kind of get a chance to revisit it with fresh eyes and kind
Mhm.
of come back to this thing and be like, oh yeah, like that's cool. We did that. Look at all that work we did. That's really cool, And to see how they put it together, because a movie is a village collaboration. It's performance, but it's also the edit and the cut. And there was so much improv in this movie that
Mhm.
it's like we kind of had a say, I think, as writer performers, but also that exists a lot in the way that they edited something down, So he's also shaping that performance so much. That editor, Jeff Boothby, was also shaping the performance so much. So it's a cool process to see where they land.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Uh, I like how you actually brought up your recent comedy special that you shot in 2025, JoySuck. I do have a few questions about that. One, my very first main question is, how did you decide your outfit? Like, because the outfit is pretty iconic now. Like,
It's really funny that this is like I was touring it in the fall, and my boyfriend at the time, I was shooting a lot of stuff in like black. I wear a lot of black, and I was shooting a lot of stuff in black. And I remember we did Union Hall, and he's like looking at the video, and he goes, how do you feel about like a pink jumpsuit? He goes, it was like, because we shot it pre-Barbie, and it was like, and he goes, how do you feel about like, he's just something like that pops, because some of the comedy's a little bit dark or a little bit glib, and what if you have something that contrasts that? He went to NYU for film school. He's an editor on Family Guy. So he was like, how do you feel about a pink jumpsuit? And I was like, yeah, I could. Like, it's what you feel comfortable doing without feeling like you're selling yourself out or what the art of it is. And like, to me, I was like, a pink jumpsuit and the contrast between the brightness of that, but maybe not always, like a little bit of like the darkness. It's a nice contrast. But
yeah,
I totally, that's him. That was literally his pitch. It was John Hoyos's pitch. Thank you, John. Thank you
yeah.
for that. Yeah, because everybody asks about that jumpsuit now, and it's hilarious. I was like,
Because I
some guy came up with it. That's the
Yeah,
answer.
I like how because the suit like matches like especially when you are looking at the cover right before you press play on the special, and like it matches with the title Joy Suck, and then like nobody could ever like when you're wearing that outfit and they haven't seen your comedy for I mean this is the first time they watch that comedy, like they're gonna be in total shock because it's like, okay, the outfit that she has on is bright colors, which usually means happiness, and then she just comes out with the darkest humor I have ever heard in my existence.
But
Like,
that's the point, right? Like, that's the vibe. It's like I think there's something I like, that the cover of that thing is like a big laugh, because it is ultimately supposed to make you happy, but it
mm,
is like, but I do think there's something kind of, I like the contrast,
yes,
Comedy isn't treated like an art form enough, I don't think. And so it's like I'm really interested in bringing some of I started as an actor, I started in filmmaking, like with a documentary. It's like, I'm really interested in bringing some of like the element of cinema to stand up. I think it's cinema. It's cinema, it's art, it's not just your mama jokes or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I like.
yeah,
And we'll see if we can get a critical mass of 1 million to 10 million people to also like it too. Here's looking at you,
mhm,
uh, audience.
yes.
Check out the special. Let us know what you think. You can rate it and review it on IMDb and wherever you review specials.
Uh, so did you actually were you in the process of shooting this special while basically doing the film, or did
It
this?
was before. It was, I think we shot it before. We shot it as a workshop, and then we started putting clips online, and a bunch of them went really viral.
Mhm,
And then after that, we're like, oh, maybe this has like legs. You know what I mean? Like, we really shot that special kind of as almost like a workshop experiment to see how it would go. And then it's kind of cool that you're able to release that as the first special, you
yeah,
know, because I don't know, it's a confidence building. You're like, oh, okay, like if you put something together and you trust, like it's gonna be, I think if you really put your heart into it, hopefully it'll be better than you think. You watched the special though. You liked the
yeah,
special. Okay.
yes, yes.
I'm just
Well,
here bullying you into saying you liked stuff. It's terrible.
yeah, I couldn't really take my eyes off the outfit, but yes, especially because like now I'm just wondering like, do you like traditionally when you started stand up, were you traditionally just a dark humor comic, or like was it just like experience just transition you to being that type of comic?
I think it's because I think I've done a lot of the alt kind of shows in Los Angeles. So you're always looking for like the left of center take. And also I think I was looking for the things that made me sad. and trying to make them really, really funny. I noticed that a lot of my comedy, like the fact that women don't make the same amount as men, I think is terrible. It makes me really angry. But like my joke about the pussy tax still makes me laugh. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like I think getting malaria and like dying, like almost dying in India was like a terrible situation. It was a really terrible situation. I lost a ton of weight. This is the thinnest I've ever been. But when you can make it funny, I feel like you reframe it for your own mind and self, and like to experience a room full of people like laughing about a thing that made you really angry or sad, I find personally very healing, but also like collectively, like I think that's art. I think that's so cool, and really challenging as a comic and really fun.
Yeah. So picking a room to shoot your special, actually, was that like also a difficult part as well? Because it's like basically, I mean, you wear the outfit, the room is like dark lit,
Yeah.
and like I don't know like if you can really see like how people are seated or anything like that. But yeah, like what was the most difficult process like really like when it came to the special? Was it location? Was it just like camera angles, or was it basically something else?
Location was based on Jamie Flam runs the Dynasty Typewriter, which he used to run the Improv, the Hollywood Improv, and the Dynasty Typewriter is just this like really beautiful old like kind of 250, 300 seat theater in Los Angeles in this like very cool part of town that is beautiful and cinematic, and I love their space. I love the people running it. It's like the nicest people. And so that's where I wanted to headline in Los Angeles. And he was gracious enough to let us tape there. And in terms of the camera, it was like yeah, I had the crew. So it was like I'm always a big believer that on the day, it's like you let people do their thing, you trust them to do their thing, and you see it as iterative. Like when, mine was an independently produced comedy special as opposed to like, when HBO has 300 grand or 400 grand, it's a very different level of crew, etc. But I think you can make something very, very beautiful and very, very cinematic. Um, if you remember how rich you are in people, and coming from, I think, a filmmaking background, I think we knew, the guy who shot it, he NYU person, editor for Family Guy. So, they shot it and then, another friend came on board to shoot and then we cut it. You have control of the edit.
Mhm.
And then you make sure you have something you're happy with and then you're off to the races.
So what technically, I mean, so you have the comedy special done. The feature film is out in theaters right now. What is next? Like, are
Great
you
question.
ready to basically start doing material for a new special, or writing stuff for a feature film that you want to produce yourself, or other ventures?
I have a special that I've shot that we're shopping now, that I hope somebody amazing picks up and that that I'm really proud of. That's going to Melbourne this March,
Mhm.
and doing the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. Obviously, this movie is going to come out on VOD, and then it's going to be available on streaming after that. So hopefully people can come to the theater because I do think it's a really special theater experience, but there will be like a life beyond it
Mhm.
for that. I'm running I think like a monthly show in Los Angeles that'll be about like putting like current event style clips that you can see on my page now
Mhm.
out, to just kind of talk about everything that's going on in the world and make it feel fun and funny. So I think that's something I'm really excited about doing with comics that I really love, and building that up in a little bit of like a punk rock, like Spike Jones, but comedy kind of way. That's so I hope people really start to engage and check that stuff out. And then yeah, I'm writing some projects that hopefully will uh find their way to like the big screen or television. It's television is always a fickle beast because it's you got to get through development and then get to make it. So I've had the great luck of selling a few shows but not getting anything on the
Mhm.
air. So hopefully after this it'll be getting to work with some great people on their television shows or getting my own venture off the air. For any rich people who are listening, please be in touch.
For any rich people.
If you are a billionaire and looking to create a tax write-off for yourself, we will gladly make some amazing things with your contribution.
Oh man, that is a good way of selling it too. And I'm sure somebody's gonna see this and be like, you know what? Maybe I can do this. I got a
Yeah,
little.
exactly. I hope that if that happened, wouldn't that be amazing? And then I would
Yeah,
come back on here and I'd be like, well, thanks, bud.
you turned this into Shark Tank. It
Exactly,
basically.
exactly. I turn every podcast into Shark Tank. That's
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Before I get you out of here, I just got like one more question. I noticed as a comic, like when you get to a certain stature in your professional career, like there's always somebody looking at you like that you probably don't even recognize, like inspired by the work that you're doing, and also they want to do themselves. Like, have you had other comics reach out to you and basically ask you questions, or other actresses basically reach out to you in this time frame and ask you like basically questions that you felt like are fascinating?
Yeah, I mean, I think people are really curious about how to get started or what to do if you want to begin. And I think the big thing is there's no rules, right? Especially right now, there's just no rules. I think one of the things I've heard other people say, and it sounds so trite, but I do think it's tremendously true, is like um network across, right? Who are your like are this movie that went to Sundance was made with like all of Mira's friends from film school, So it's like if you look at Ryan Coogler winning the Oscar, it's like that guy
Yeah.
who won for music was his roommate. Like I think that there's something to be said for you probably have this amazing community around you. And I think it's figuring out who like-minded people are, who share a similar vision to yours where you're aligned and you like each other so that you can see each other through thick and thin and through a very, very difficult business. And then also have fun along the way doing it. I think a community is so important and stand up can be such a loner game that but figuring out what that community is, I think is probably a way to achieve longevity over time, yeah, and then put your work out there, and trust that it's kind of an iterative process. Like that's one thing I think being South Asian, like I was talking to a friend of mine who's Korean, the perfectionism, always wanting everything to be perfect, like this idea that it's like never done, and trying to be a little bit more relaxed with this idea of it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a constant conversation. Especially in stand up, we're constantly iterating, we're constantly fixing it, and just continue to evolve and trust that even when you release a product, you're still in process.
Mm.
And be compassionate with yourself over that, as opposed to being your own worst critic, because you have to stay excited and motivated the entire time to get stuff done.
Yes, and like I think every comic, that's their biggest flaw, is being their own like
Of
worst.
course. And I think that's true for a lot of people who really care about what they do.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's a producer, and she said this really beautiful thing at Sundance. In her speech, she won like the best producer award. And I remember she said, filmmaking, this is her phrase, report of Bakshi. She goes, a filmmaking is an act of regulating your nervous system, because you can go through really high highs and really low lows, but just like you and your human person, just like you don't need to believe the hype and you don't need to believe the negativity, but just try to keep your own steady objectivity on what you're doing to the extent that you can. And I thought that was really beautiful, because I think that's true throughout a career in the arts, no matter what the medium is. There's times when this business will say, oh, you're the shit, oh, we love you. And there's times when that's not going to be your story, but you are the same person
Yes.
regardless. You are the same person, you are the same piece, you are the same talent, you are you have the same amount of capability. So
Yeah.
I hope that when people are low, they remember that, and when they're high, they remember that too, you
Yeah.
know.
I tell comics like that all the time. Basically, I tell them, remember what got you started doing this in the first place, and
Yeah.
go back to there, because like whatever got you started, like that was the most confident you've ever been in your life. Yeah, I want to do it. I can do it. I can do this, and that
Or
is the.
also, and remembering to have fun. Like it's supposed to be fun. And I think when I started, I told myself, if you stop having fun, quit.
Mhm.
Stop doing this. Nobody is making you do this.
Yeah,
Remember that you are choosing to do this. And if you choose to do it, how do you want to do it?
yeah.
Which we all like go through the, like the ups and downs of it if you've been doing it a long time, but like try to remember that.
Yeah, no. Oh, so one last question before I get you out of here. Actually has to deal with your comedy and the film Didn't Die, which is out now in theaters. Please go check your listings and please go see it. It's a really, really good movie. Okay, zombie apocalypse really does happen. You can only take 5 comedy specials with you and 5 podcasts with you. What would it be?
5 comedy specials. I would take Bill Burr's Paper Tiger. I would take Baby Cobra by Ali Wong. I would take JoySuck by Kiran Deol because I need a memory of the work I've done. I would take Eddie Murphy's special from that first one, that insane one that he did where he's in that crazy purple outfit.
Oh,
Uh
so
he's
you take
so
Raw. Not Delirious, but Raw.
Yeah, I would take Raw. I think he's very funny in that special.
Okay.
I would have taken like the old Bill Cosby special, but RIP to all of that. That's really sad,
Yeah.
and I'm trying not to support, roofing women and
Yeah.
stuff because I am one. Blah
Yeah.
blah blah. So annoying. And then maybe if it was a recent one, maybe Shang Wang's Sweet and Juicy.
Mm.
I think he's marvelous. I just think he's a marvelous comic. I like a lot. Yeah, I like a lot of people. So I would say those
Because
off
I
the
was
top of my head.
thinking 7, but but so how about 5 podcasts?
Now, I don't listen to that many podcasts. I think probably because I know so many comics, and basically talking to them are my podcasts.
Well,
Um,
they don't have to be comedy podcasts. They can just be general podcasts.
I listen to a lot of Buddhists, and they're not great talkers. They kind of ramble, but like they remind me to stay calm. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like I listen to this woman named Tara Brock. She's a little boring, and she tells a lot of jokes in her podcasts, but they're other people's jokes, which I mean, I don't have the heart to tell her that's technically stealing. She always gives credit. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? She was like, I read this comic book, and then she repeats the jokes a lot too. So it's is because she's doing a lot of podcasting, but honestly, I think she's a great Buddhist. I think she's great at being chill and has like a lot of compassion. I guess I would stand her, Tara Brock. If she
mhm.
watches this, she's gonna be like, man, that was the most backhanded compliment I've ever gotten in my life.
You'll be like,
I love you,
thanks.
Tara Brock. I love you. I think you're great. Um, that's the podcast I would take with me.
Nice. Okay. Definitely I can tell like during the zombie apocalypse, it's gonna be a podcast that you listen to, like hope she gets eaten by one of the zombies, but then also that she comes back next week. So
Yeah,
she
yeah, exactly. I think she would be good during an apocalypse because she reminds you how to stay human and calm. And you would
nice.
need that, like, because I can, I'd be able to like make myself, and then hopefully the other podcast would be Vanita's podcast from Didn't Die. Hopefully that would be going.
Yes, yeah. Well, I hope so because like it's only one when it happens. So hopefully it's yours. But
Yeah, it's the OG. It's the OG. Let's hope so.
well, Karen, it was such a great honor to talk to you.
This was
Actually,
such a pleasure. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you so
I mean,
much.
like I said, you're like I'm a big fan of yours and stuff. So getting to talk to you
Oh,
and actually talk about the film and get to talk about your special is like 2 great things of mine. So I can't wait to actually see you again when you're probably running your show at the Dynasty, and and also like trying to see the movie again on VOD when it comes out. Hopefully, I
yeah.
can see it. Like I said before, we were talking. I was like, hopefully, I get to see it in LA because I like to do stuff like that where you get to go see independent
Yeah,
film.
it's nice to see it in the theater, but it will be out like probably I think end of April. So I really hope people get to see it in the theater because obviously it's so communal and you get to hear the laughs and all of that stuff, and that's really nice. But I know that everyone doesn't live in a city where it's playing, and supporting small movies, small independent films with and Sundance movies through VOD and all of the other ways you get to engage with it is also just amazing.
Yes, it is. So thank you. Hopefully, you have a great rest of your day.
You too.
And actually, I'll probably go look for that podcast you just talked about to see how boring and successful this thing is.
Yeah, report back. Report back.
Yeah.
She's got a totally different demo than
Yeah.
comedians. But you'll hear
Uh,
what I say. Like she'll like do a she'll be like in her voice. She's like this like lovely voice, but she'll always be like, I read a comic book the other day, and it's always I saw it in the New Yorker, and it's always good dog.
and
It's a
it
it's a
calms you
it's
down.
a it's a dog. It's a dog lying on a sofa, and it's always good dog, but it's never great dog. And I think about that, and it's like that's the delivery, and I'm like, this is wild. I'm in a wild timeline.
Yeah, no,
It's pretty
and
great.
you listen to this to calm you down to like
It's always good dog. It's never great dog. No, then she says a bunch of stuff about compassion, or like she relates it back to her Buddhist teachings or whatever. But the humor part is in
okay,
so
this
many ways chef's kiss.
I
I mean, chef's
gotta,
kiss. I don't know how else to put it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm hooked. I'm hooked now. I definitely got to.
It is funny that she really values humor. It's kind of shocking how much she values humor. And listen, I appreciate her love of it, even if I don't always appreciate the delivery.
Yes, and that's all that matters. She's like, I don't care how you listen to it. I just want you to listen to it. But thank you again, Karen. Talk to you soon.
Talk to
Hope
you soon.
hope to see everything that you've been dreaming for come true because you definitely
Thank you.
deserve it. Always remember to laugh at life because it's actually pretty funny. My name is Tyson Paul, and this is WeOnTheLaughs.com. See you later, guys.